Did you know that Kestra has support for Ansible? In case you're not aware, Ansible is an IT automation system that makes it really easy for handling configuration management, application deployment, and more. Now, Ansible is an open source project that anyone can just download and run. And so you may want to combine this with something like Kestra if you want to try and automate the automation. What I mean by that is you might have some of these IT automations where you've got an Ansible playbook where it has all these different steps together, but you might want to run that on a schedule, and you can have Kestra trigger when these playbooks are run. Now, to give you some context on what this might look like, here I've just got a very simple Ansible notebook that's going to run locally, but you can also have a web server set up via SSH, so you can tell those playbooks to run on various different servers depending on what you need. You can have it install certain requirements or dependencies on those different machines. Now, this playbook is just going to say a simple hello world, and then it's going to check if I've got wget installed via Homebrew. So I'm going to run this playbook here, which I've already got installed Ansible with Homebrew, and we can see it was successful. We can see it sent our little message, and it checked that wget was installed. So running this locally, all great, but what if I wanted to run this sort of thing daily, or maybe I wanted to run this in an event-driven workflow where I wanted to set up some new systems? Now, we can use Kestra for that using the Ansible plugin here. Now, the plugin here is called Ansible CLI. So what this means is that you get a bunch of different examples here that let you effectively run Ansible commands like we just did locally, but as part of a workflow inside of Kestra. So I'm going to walk you through a few examples of where you can do this and how you can best go around managing it. So in our first example here, we have got an Ansible CLI task here, and this is just going to run whenever we manually run it. But if we wanted to add some sort of trigger, such as a schedule or maybe a polling trigger, we could do that too, so this runs in an event-driven manner. Now, the way this works is, as we saw locally, we've got two files on our system that we need to be able to access. And so we have inside of our namespace files here, we've got inventory hello world. So that's this one here, that's just going to tell it to run locally. And we've also got our playbook here, which again, is just going to send a simple message. So now if I was to go back to our workflow, you can see I'm using the input files property here, along with an expression to read in those files. So looking back at the workflow, I'm using a property called input files here that's allowing us to read in these files from the namespace files by using an expression here. So I'm saying read in the name of the file, and then I'm mapping it to a new name here. So this is the name I will refer to when using the plugin. So down here under commands, I can refer to it as inventory.ini, despite the fact it was called something different in the namespace files, and the same for the playbook here. So now when I run this, we'll see that it's going to start our execution and run those playbooks via Kestra. And because you're doing it inside of Kestra as part of inside of its own container, this gives you the opportunity to automate it with other workflows or other triggers. So here, if we go under logs, we can see that it was okay successfully and it was able to run. Another way you can do this as well is by using namespace files as a property. So rather than having to manually map each of those files, you can also enable namespace files as well. And you've also got the opportunity to include or exclude specific files. So once this container spins up with the Ansible CLI inside of it, it will only have the files specified or exclude the ones that you've also specified. Now I'm specifying all of them, so it means I will then be able to access my file here called playbook.yaml that has a bunch of different tasks inside of it. And so here we can see it's going to create a new file. It's going to create a bunch of different files and print out some logs. Now, one other property that we've got here is the output log file. So this is now going to put all the logs into a dedicated file that we can access in the outputs tab. So this is useful if you need to download this or you want to be able to access this outside of Kestra. You'd also be able to use Kestra to automatically upload this file to something like S3 if you want to be able to access this in a different place. So let's execute this workflow and have a look at what this might look like as well. So we can see this is run now, and we can see at the bottom here that it's created a bunch of those different log messages and whatnot. And so now if I go to the outputs tab, we can see here that it has given us a bunch of different outputs here that we can access as variables, but under output files, we do have the logs that we were expecting in a dedicated file. So we can access that by using an expression like this, but also download it directly from the UI. So one other thing you might have noticed is in the playbook, we are in fact generating files. And similar to that input files property, there's also an output files property which we can use to then get those files out of the container and then use those downstream in later tasks. So here you can see I'm going to be generating a file called greetings.txt, and so I've specified it here under output files. Now, if I execute this workflow, we'll see that once it's executed, we'll be able to access that file under output files, and then you can see here, the file is ready for us to access. One other way that you can use your Ansible playbooks as well is by writing them directly inside of your workflow. So here, instead of using that inputs file property with an expression to read in the namespace files, instead being able to write these in line. So you can see here, I've got my inventory.ini, and then I've just specified underneath what I want that file to contain. Same for the playbook. So this is very useful if you've just got short playbooks that you'd want to be able to just manage in one file rather than having to have in dedicated separate files. And this one's also got a neat thing because here I'm able to use Kestra's expressions directly inside of the playbook. So here I want to be able to create a bucket with AWS, and I'm going to use Ansible to do that. And so here I've asked the user when they press execute, what is the name of this bucket that you want to create? And then I can just put it directly in dynamically to the playbook. The same applies here for the AWS access key and secret key, which I can use the Kestra secret manager to store securely, but then I can inject them into the playbook at execution so that when the playbook needs to access AWS, it can do so no problems. Also prevents me from having to paste it directly into my workflow, which means if I want to put my workflow or even just the playbook itself into version control, I don't have to reveal my secrets. I can also install some things as well. So we need to use Boto3 here to be able to use AWS, and I can just do that with a simple pip install inside of our container too. And then here, again, just running that Ansible playbook command. So if I run this now and we run a new bucket called example here, so Ansible bucket Kestra example, I can now run that. We're going to see that it's going to create our bucket, and then as you probably noticed, I've got a separate task here to just tell us what's in the bucket, mostly just to prove the bucket was created and it does exist. So here we can see the bucket exists, it didn't error, but it's empty, which we would expect because we've just made it. They won't have anything in it, but you can then use Ansible here to chain together some of those bits. So you can see here, it was successful, no problems at all. Create a simple S3 bucket, not a problem. So you've got lots of options here if you want to just run these notebooks directly on Kestra, but if you also want to change your connection by using a web server, then you can do that too. You just need to be wary that if you're using a web server that's maybe not initially accessible to the Docker container running Kestra, you might have to set up some extra networking configuration to allow them to talk to each other. But if you're just running Kestra with a jar file, for example, then you shouldn't have any issues. So hopefully that's given you a good insight into how Ansible works inside of Kestra and how you can use Ansible along with the power of Kestra to automate a bunch of this process. If you'd like to see more videos on Ansible from us, let us know in the comments below.